Is Billy a new upside-down victim? Is Steve potentially turning into a creep? And is a city being plagued by an epidemic? Stranger Things is now turning into crazy, bizarre, horrifying, shocking things in this much darker Season 3. The last show that reduced the number of episodes in a season to 6 didn't really end up going so well, but the Duffer Brothers have assured us that there was no need to make this season longer than 7 episodes. Hi, I'm Jeremy, and here's what we can expect from Season 3, judging by its episode list on Awesome Movies. Episode 1, Susy, do you copy? The trailer's first shot features the scene with Dustin being welcomed back. By the way, this shot is super reminiscent of this 1985 Roland Emmerich movie, Making Contact, where a boy named Joey makes toys move with his telekinetic powers. Anyway, the episode probably starts with that, a happy reunion among the friends and the audience, and the last peaceful sunny summer days before a giant mind flayer tarantula fucks everything up. Yes, we know Mind Flayer is coming back since the very last scene in the second season showed it rising above the dance hall. But let's get back to Dustin, who had just arrived from Camp Nowhere, a reference to the popular Christopher Lloyd movie with the same title. Although that movie came out in 1994, 9 years after the events of the third season, so there's no way that Dustin was actually there, but the Duffer Brothers weren't going to miss an opportunity to reference a classic Goonies-style movie. So, after the warm reunion and a couple of hours of eye flickering for poor Lucas, the kids will go to a fair. The Stranger Things Season 3 date announcement video clearly stated that 11 of the gang would start their new journey on the 4th of July in 1985. The first episode will also premiere on July 4th, so we can safely assume that horrible events will happen right in the first episode. Why am I so sure that something horrible will happen right away? Well, the trailer showed us Chief Hopper with the wound on his forehead, standing in the middle of the fair, and a shot of Hopper holding a gun, probably shooting back at the strange guys in the mirror room. So besides otherworldly creatures trying to have you for a snack, we'll face a new classic black turtlenecked douchebag. There's a great chance he's in Hawkins because of 11 once again. Now remember, the title of the first episode is Susy, Do You Copy? Well, the character list features only one Susy, or Susan, that is Max's mom, Susan Hargrove. Since she has little personal connection to Hopper, maybe she'll be the sheriff's new partner, as the title of the episode seems to suggest that it will feature the police. Episode 2, The Mallrats. We know from the first mysterious Season 3 trailer that the new Starcourt Mall will be a main setting for some important events to take place. So that's where the gang will head to have some fun after a crazy night at the fun fair. Steven already works there at the ice cream shop Scoop Ahoy, along with a new character named Robin, played by Maya Hawke, who is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. And by the way, at least for me, something that is unbelievably cool is that Maya Hawke is playing in this. Why? Because her dad was actually in an awesome movie, Explorers, and I can't imagine how Explorers could not be an influence on Stranger Things. It features Ethan Hawke and a group of boys, including River Phoenix, who are much like the kids from Hawkins, Indiana, but they make contact with aliens. When was Explorers released? You guessed it, 1985. Anyway, once again, it's Hawkins, so there's no way it's going to be just a regular fun day. The trailer for the show features a rat running away, so we have a couple of theories about what might be happening. First off, rats are known for leaving sinking ships, so it may have been the first hint that something horrible was happening. Do you remember in the trailer when we saw lightning engulf some guy in a weird suit? It looks like it's happening somewhere underground, perhaps underneath the mall, and it reminds us of Season 1 in the lab with the tunnel to the Upside Down world. If so, it's then pretty obvious why the rats are doing their best to escape. Secondly, the rat may be metaphorical. They usually live underground, so it's likely that the director is talking not about rats per se, but about creatures that are hiding somewhere underneath the mall. Another possibility, we saw how a new monster was growing right before Jonathan's eyes. Maybe it was initially small enough to hide in the mall storage. Thirdly, rats are the world's most famous disease carriers, so maybe they'll be involved in some kind of epidemic. There's a moment in the trailer that possibly connects to this, but we'll discuss that when we get to Episode 6. Episode 3, The Case of the Missing Lifeguard. This summer is not only about fun and creepy mysteries, but also about boring everyday adult life. Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and even Billy have work to do. From the trailer, we know that the douchebag is working at a swimming pool, probably torturing some poor kids. We also saw a stunning female lifeguard in a red swimsuit. Maybe a reference to 1993's The Sandlot, a movie the Duffer Brothers enjoyed, which is centered around the adventures of middle school boys. Well, at least they're not referencing Jaws. We later see that some lifeguard winked at Billy. and then fell into some dark pit, maybe a new hole to the upside down world? So the episode will probably center around Billy, his co-workers, and the kids investigating the accident. There's a good chance Billy is somehow responsible for the girl vanishing, but I'll explain later in the video. Episode 4, The Source, and Episode 5, The Birthday. Well, the title, The Source, is pretty obvious. We'll most likely find out what's going on around Hawkins this time and who is responsible for it. We know that there's the Mind Flayer, a new monster that looks like a combination of gibbering mouther and hook horror, and that strange psychopath-looking guy named Bruce. So could one of these villains be the root of all the ongoing chaos, or could there be another reason for Hawkins' never-ending troubles? Let me know in the comments below. There's also a chance that Eleven, in an attempt to find the source of the problem, may return to the Upside Down. We saw some shots of her in a strange place in the trailer, including a scene in a bathroom and on some strange beach. It's definitely not Hawkins, which is a landlocked town in the state of Indiana. It makes more sense for the events to take place in a new dimension. This is more evidence that someone is going to travel to another dimension in the scene with the antennas. From the previous seasons, we know it's possible to communicate with the Upside Down via radio waves. This one looks like an upgrade from the previous radio receivers. It means either the kids got smarter and more skilled and just built a bigger one, or the location of the new dimension is much farther and it takes more power to reach it. Speaking of the birthday episode, I can only say one thing. It won't be Will's birthday, because as the Stranger Things fandom page says, his birthday is March 22nd, and Will is the only one who has his full birthday on his page. On the other hand, it doesn't mean that he isn't the central character of the episode. We saw Will holding a picture of his friends. He was all wet, scared, and shocked, so something will probably go horribly wrong during the celebration, forcing Will to have to make a tough decision. And let's not forget about the one more fresh gang member, Erica, Lucas's sister. The directors fell in love with Priya on set, and as described in Variety, Erica, quote, returns in the next installment with an army of her own friends. No longer content with sitting on the sidelines, Erica finds herself on a wild mission to save Hawkins from a dangerous new threat. So to create a more Erica-centered episode, there's a chance that she will be the one having a birthday party, and the new Demogorgon will come out of the birthday cake. We caught a glimpse of Erica crawling through a tunnel, and we saw her standing up next to Robin, all beaten up, clearly after a fight. So she will definitely play a bigger role in this season. Episode 6, The Bite. Remember before how we talked about rats spreading disease? Well, by the 6th episode, the disease may actually become an epidemic. The trailer showed Steve being injected. It could be some kind of antidote, but it could also be some sort of a serum that drives you crazy, injected by that mad scientist we saw engulfed in blue lightning in the trailer. So Steve is either being saved or turned into a creep. In fact, there's one more character that could be bitten, and I'm talking about Billy. From the trailer, we know that he's possessed with something, and he's presumably under the control of the Mind Flayer because we saw a bruise on his arm, some kind of infection from the Upside Down world. Maybe he was bitten by some rats or by some other creature. He's already violent enough. Imagine what he could do under the control of the Mind Flayer? On the other hand, Matt Duffer stated that Billy was supposed to have a bigger role. There was a whole teen supernatural storyline that just got booted because it was just too cluttered, you know? A lot of that's just getting kicked into season 3, he said. That's why even if Billy was bitten by something, it could happen earlier than episode 6, so he'll have a bigger storyline. No doubt many people will suffer by his hands. Episode 7, The Battle of Starport. Well, the title speaks for itself. I'm sure we'll have a massive battle scene in the finale. The cast said in unison that each season it gets darker, so we can probably expect a pretty doomed finale for some of the characters. Plus, in the glorious tradition of Stranger Things, the very last scene of the final episode should leave us with some clues about the next season. And even though the second season was super great, there's a storyline that was left very much in the open. I'm talking about Eleven's sister Kaylee, aka 8. The Duffer Brothers faced a lot of backlash for introducing a new group of people and then quickly leaving them out with no further development. Kaylee will surely be a Chekhov's gun. She'll definitely play a bigger role later in the show. It would be really interesting if in season 4 we started learning about other superpowered kids, for example. We have 8 and 11, but where are numbers 1 through 10? What if some of them are not as good as Kaylee and 11? It's possible that the next bad superpowered creature could be one of them. Will the Duffer Brothers decide that 2 seasons of the Mind Flayer are enough, and that they want to focus more on some other supernatural stuff? So many people are very much looking forward to seeing Kaylee, so maybe we'll see her in the very last seconds of season 3. But hopefully the directors will surprise us with even crazier ideas than the ones that we've mentioned. Well, that's all for now. Stay tuned. Let me know what you expect from the 3rd season. Thank you for watching, and stay awesome.